Joining me live now to decode and to understand just a little better what the relationship looks like moving ahead between India and the United States on the shoulders of these two global leaders, Donald Trump and Narendra Modi, two leaders who've shared a warm personal bond. They've navigated, a lot of turbulences between the two countries. And after the Biden presidency, India has in many ways welcomed the return of Donald Trump. There is continuity in the relationship, but there is a great deal to look forward to. Joining me live is India's most well-known strategic affairs thinker and writer, Brahma Chelani, also our foreign affairs editor, Geeta Mohan. Brahma Chelani, I'd like to start it off with you by quoting a key sentence in the single paragraph that has been released by the White House about this phone call between Trump and Modi. And it is really the only thing we have to go by at this point of time, where it says the two leaders discussed expanding and deepening cooperation. They also discussed a range of regional issues, including security in the Indo-Pacific, Middle East and Europe. That's pretty boilerplate stuff. But also the president emphasized the importance of India increasing its procurement of American-made security equipment and moving toward a fair bilateral trading relationship. What did you read into this, very small paragraph describing the conversation between the two leaders?
First, I think it's important to bear in mind that in the last 2 years of the Biden presidency, the U.S.-India relationship began fraying.
Yeah.
We did not focus on the fact that this relationship was coming under strain, but a series of issues cropped up, including the use of the human rights card, the Khalistan card by Washington, then the Bangladesh regime change, then the two indictments, one of Adani, one of a former intelligence officer. All those developments put pressure on the U.S.-India relationship. And Trump's victory in November was a shot in the arm for this relationship.
Yeah.
It signaled that this relationship could regain its momentum. As far as Trump is concerned, he's always been transactional quite openly. The U.S. foreign policy under successive presidents has been transactional.
Yeah.
The thing about Trump is that he's quite open about his transactional instinct. In his first term, he persuaded India to increase its imports of American oil and petroleum products. Indian imports of American oil and petroleum products really shot up after 2018. For 4 years, there was a big spike in imports of American oil and petroleum products until the Ukraine invasion opened up the Russian market for India. It's a cheaper source. So today, he is now again demanding what he was demanding in the first term, which is that India should buy more U.S. weapons. And he hasn't said anything about the oil part, but he will also ask India to buy more American oil, just the way he has been asking Europe to buy more American oil.
Yeah. Very interesting. And, Geeta, to bring you in on this, obviously neither side has let out too much, but the White House statement does capture a few nuggets, and one of them we've just spoken about. Are you hearing anything on background from the government about, what the next steps are going to look like in this relationship, basis this conversation between the two leaders?
Well, too early, but Shiv, Dr. Jaishankar was in Washington, D.C. He met with the outgoing administration, but also engaged the incoming administration, engaging his own officials in D.C., understanding what this transition and what the changes could really mean. There are a few things over here. One is that, yes, Trump would want greater cooperation with India, keeping China in mind. Look at the appointments, and you know that they are going to be very China-centric, not in terms of a boost to China-US relations, more likely to contain China in the region, particularly in the Indo-Pacific. And in that, India is going to be an important player. So that's where they're going to be key partners. But having said that, there are a few areas that could be of concern to India. India has gone ahead and given or assured cooperation on illegals.
Yeah.
That deportation is something they would not would cooperate in once the nationality is identified and those illegals are deported. But apart from that, immigration in itself, visa issues, make in India, trade is going to be a very, very important area of concern, because if you look at the two readouts, the Prime Minister's office put out a readout which only spoke about cooperation, so on and so forth. But it's the White House readout where very specifically they've said that that America looks forward to American-made defense equipment acquisition in order to further make in America. I'm paraphrasing it, but that's what the readout basically essentially meant. So they are going to look at a lot of Make in America rather than the focus on Prime Minister Modi's Make in India, Shiv.
So immigration is not going to be a big sticking point. On H-1B, Trump actually sounded rather ambivalent. He didn't take a strong position one way or the other. But that's, of course, going to be an issue that needs to be navigated carefully, because it has big implications for both sides. I want to come now to the issue of defense, because it's quite unusual, but in signature style, the transactional style, the kind of very transparent, openly aggressive style, in this opening readout itself, there's already a specific line saying that Trump is keen for India to increase, its purchase of American equipment. Before I come to Brahmachalani about that specific point, on defense procurements, I just want to list for our viewers who may not be familiar, I'm sure you are, but just as a way of a reminder, how much American equipment India has actually purchased in the last 15 to 20 years, and it is an enormous amount. The Indian Air Force uses 22 Apache attack helicopters. It also uses 15 Chinook heavy-lift helicopters, both made by Boeing in the United States. The Indian Air Force operates 12 or I think 13 C-130J medium transport aircraft. We've got 11 C-17 Globemaster III heavy-lift aircraft, very visible across the world. 512 CBU-97 precision-guided cluster bombs. We're getting about 24. I think 12 have been delivered. MH-60 Romeo anti-submarine naval helicopters. The P-8I submarine hunter long-range maritime reconnaissance aircraft of the Navy have been used extensively. The INS Jalashwa amphibious warship, few know, is actually an ex-US Navy Trenton-class amphibious ship. Harpoon anti-ship missiles are operational. The Indian Tejas fighter is powered by a GE 404 engine that comes from the United States. The Indian Army uses over 100 M777 ultralight howitzer guns, which are assembled in India but are of US origin. One of the standard assault rifles with the Indian infantry is now an American Sig Sauer Sig 716 assault rifle. The Indian Navy also uses Mk-54 torpedoes. There are many, many other items from the US defense companies that the Indian military currently uses.